Social Security solvent, raise benefits for lower income seniors. We're going to introduce that legislation this week.
Take a look. Bernie Sanders, I will soon introduce legislation to extend Social Security solvency for the next 75 years and expand benefits by $2,400 per year. That is that $200 per month increase. It is long due time that we expand Social Security. Now, I've got some good news and I've got some bad news for you on this. I'm going to give you all the details, but first, take a look at the video footage so you can hear it for yourself directly from Senator Bernie Sanders.
There are concerns amongst members of the new majority in the House that the Social Security Trust Fund will not be fully funded by 2033. They've caused people to think that that means that if you are retiring at that point, you won't get your full payout. That is inaccurate. However, there is an issue with funding, with replenishing the trust fund. You have a different solution for that than the Republicans have.
Right. These guys over in the House, some of them, not all, think that the solution is at a time when so many seniors, we don't talk about this enough. You got people who are trying to make it on Social Security, $15,000, $18,000 a year. You can't. So the solution is not what some Republicans want, to cut Social Security. The solution is to lift the cap on taxable income coming into the trust fund. Right now, you have an insane, really absurd situation. Person X makes $10 million a year. Person Y makes $160,000 a year. Both contribute exactly the same amount of money into the Social Security Trust Fund. If you lift that cap, as our legislation proposes, start at $250,000, you will have Social Security solvent for the next 75 years, solves the problem entirely, and raise benefits for lower income seniors. So that's the fight that we are waging. We're going to introduce that legislation this week.
All right, so let me know your thoughts, you guys. Now, first off, the bad news. The bad news is that tweet, not sure if you noticed, actually came out February 1st. So it has been about 9 days since he tweeted that out, and we had heard that that was going to be coming forward, but we have not seen it yet. Now, we're also hearing, here is the good news, that he was waiting until after the State of the Union address, and we've seen tweets coming out like this. Breaking news, Bernie Sanders will be introducing the bill to extend Social Security solvency for the next 75 years and expand benefits by $2,400 a year. And we have heard that it's going to be this upcoming week, you guys. So I will keep you up to date. Let me know your thoughts. Now, this is going to be the Social Security Expansion Act of 2023, which we have heard is going to have all the provisions of the past included. Now, is there going to be additional modifications? We will see. I will let you guys know. Now, let's dive into the details here, though, and get you caught up.
You're obviously a staunch supporter of expanding entitlements like Social Security. The Congressional Budget Office says that without intervention, the program will become insolvent as soon as 2033. Some lawmakers have floated the idea of this bipartisan panel to look at how to save those programs. Would you support that approach, or do you have conditions?
Well, no, I wouldn't support that approach, because the last time around, the conclusion they came up with was major cuts to Social Security, et cetera. Look, the solution to this problem is not very hard to understand, and we've got legislation in to address it. Anderson, right now, if you got one person who makes $100 million a year and another person who makes $160,000 a year, both of those people put in exactly the same amount of money into Social Security, because there's a ceiling on how much your taxes will be paid into the program. If you lift that cap, starting at $250,000, you can make Social Security not only solvent for the next 75 years. 75 years, you can increase benefits for lower income elderly people who are struggling really hard right now to get by. That's the solution to the problem. And I hope that we will get a large amount of support for that.
On the debt ceiling, though, I mean, how does it end? How does this problem get resolved?
I think it ends very simply the way it should end in a democratic society, and that is the American people make the decisions. Do you really want to cut Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid several years after Republicans gave huge tax breaks to the richest people and the largest corporations, and at a time when we have more income and wealth inequality than we have had in 100 years? Really? Is that what you want to do? Is that what you think the American people want to do?
So there you have it. That just came out last week. And I've had a lot of people asking me, Steve, why are you still reporting on this? It's not going to happen. It's been over 2 years now. And I got to let people know, no, listen, this is going to be the year of Social Security reform. And yes, I completely understand. We've been waiting for quite some time with these unfulfilled promises from Congress. I totally get it. I know. I'm with you. We are exhausted from the back and forth and getting dragged along and kicking the can down the road. But now, finally, do not lose faith. It looks like it might be coming through here. They've got to do something, too. Here's the thing. It's because, as he mentioned, the solvency is an issue. It's going to be running out here very soon. Now, just to clarify, like they said in those videos, does not mean that Social Security recipients are not going to be getting benefits. But it does mean they won't be able to get the full amounts. There will be cuts coming to distributions if the solvency reaches an end. So they're saying about 80%, which means they've got to do something. So make no mistake, yes, they've dragged us along, but their backs are against the wall. They've got to make some modifications to these programs. And last year, we had 3 major pieces of legislation that came forward and that were talked about a lot. And the Social Security Expansion Act was one of them. Now, we've also had other proposals come forward. There's been an assortment of different things that have been proposed over the past couple of years. And you guys, I'm going to keep you up to date on all of them and let you know what comes through. There's likely going to be pieces of some of these coming together all into one thing that's finally going to be done. But the Social Security Expansion Act of 2023, we're hearing, is going to be introduced very soon. And we're hearing likely could be this upcoming week. So let's get the jump on this so I can let you know what is likely going to be included. And you just heard him mention some of the things. You saw the tweets. Take a look. This came out last year, June of 2022. Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, and colleagues introduced legislation to expand Social Security by $2,400 a year, aka that $200 per month, and extend the solvency for 75 years. Now, I'm not going to dive too deep into the text here, but pretty much it just says that all of these people are introducing this bill. It's going to be introduced legislation that would expand Social Security benefits by $2,400 a year and fully fund it for the next 75 years past the year 2096, all without raising taxes by 1 penny on over 93% of the American households. How are they going to be doing that? Well, as you heard him say, through taxation. Now, take a look here, you guys. This is the Social Security Expansion Act fact sheet. I just recently covered this with you guys, but I'm going to do it again because this is very, very important right now. This is coming up at this moment. We're likely going to be seeing this reintroduced in Congress, and we're going to see if it's an exact replica of this or if it's going to be a modified version. And I let you guys know a modified version might be good because according to the actual text, there was no mention of supplemental security income or SSI in there. And a lot of people are saying that they're going to get left out if they pass this legislation. Now, in here, it's going to say Social Security across the board is going to get enhanced with this $200 per month or $2,400 for a year. But in the actual bill, when you take a look, they mention disability, they mention Social Security, retirement, but they do not mention supplemental security income. So that could get left off the table. But here's the Expansion Act fact sheet. And if we scroll down, you can see here, Social Security Expansion Act would extend the solvency of Social Security for an additional 75 years by requiring the wealthiest American households pay their fair share in taxes, it says. Today, because of the earnings cap on Social Security taxes, a CEO that makes $20 million a year pays the same amount of money into Social Security as someone who makes $147,000 a year. And that cap has been increased to $160,000 now. This is text from last year, so that's why it's different. The legislation would lift this cap and would subject all income above $250,000 to Social Security payroll tax. So there would be a gap between $160,000 and $250,000 where you don't have to pay anything, but once you make more than $250,000, then all of that income starts getting taxed for Social Security. Under this bill, over 93% of households would not see their taxes go up by 1 penny. Now, this is $250,000. We had heard $400,000 before, so it looks like there will be some modifications to their statements made before. Expanded Social Security benefits across the board for current and new beneficiaries under this bill. Social Security benefits for current and existing recipients would increase by $200 per month. And there it sounds pretty plain that SSI, SSDI, retirement, any type of Social Security funds, they would get enhanced. But like I said, let's keep an eye on this because SSI, we did not see in the bill. increase, cost of living adjustment, or the COLAs. The bill would more accurately measure the spending patterns for seniors by adopting the Consumer Price Index for the elderly, or CPIE. Older Americans, by and large, are not going out on spending sprees buying big TV screens or laptops or the latest high-tech gadgets. Rather, they spend a disproportionate amount of their income on healthcare and prescription drugs, and that would reflect in the formula for calculating COLA under the legislation. Require millionaires and billionaires to pay their fair share into Social Security. Currently, workers have 12.4% taken out of each paycheck and contribute to the trust fund, half paid by the employer and half paid by workers. This bill would require the wealthy to pay the same 12.4% on their investments and business income by increasing the net investment income tax by 12.4% and applying it to certain business incomes not already covered by payroll taxes. Improve the special minimum benefit for Social Security recipients. This bill will help low-income workers stay out of poverty by updating the special minimum benefit to make it increased and indexing the benefit level so that it is equal to 125% of the poverty line, or about $17,000 for a single worker who had worked their full career. Restore student benefits up to age 22 for children and disabled or deceased workers if the child is a full-time student in a college or a vocational school. This legislation restores the student benefits to help educate children of deceased or disabled parents that were eliminated in 1983, and combine the Disability Insurance Trust Fund with the Old Age and Survivors Trust to help the senior citizens and persons with disabilities. So we will see if Bernie Sanders is going to be coming through with this legislation anytime now. We're waiting to see Social Security Expansion Act 2023, and as soon as it comes out, I'll be sure to let you guys know here on the channel. And also, there was a lot of talk in the State of the Union address about Social Security and Medicare. If you missed the eruption, the explosion in Congress, check it out right here. I covered all of the details and all of the chaos. You can see it right here. If you missed it, check it out. It was definitely pretty wild to see, you guys. And if you appreciate the updates, don't forget, smash the like button, subscribe to stay up to date. It's all totally free. I'll keep you up to speed on everything. But with that being said, you guys, thanks so much for joining me. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.